Yeah. Hi everyone, welcome at the live stream Flower Factor, and we are in a beautiful garden because today we're gonna create with these beautiful varieties of garden Kalanchoës, especially grown for outside. You can also have them inside, but these are especially for outside, so perfect to color up your garden. And I'm just going to show you again some ideas, some quick ideas, some things you can do. And I'm going to start off with this nice metal container. And let me see, where is my material? I have beautiful flagstones. I'm just going to make a little structure out of them, placing them in. I'm going to use this beautiful one. Look at the size. The nice thing also of this one is that it changes color because of the light outside. So we're just going to place it in here. I'm going to make a little garden. And of course, I hope that if you have questions, that you ask them. And if you don't have questions, you can always think of them. And we have beautiful weather, so that's really nice to play with some beautiful plants. I'm gonna mix, I'm gonna use small ones, bigger ones. I'm gonna use pieces of wood, pieces of moss, just creating a nice structured atmosphere where you can see a lot of color. And it's always nice to work outside because you can hear the birds. Some insects are buzzing. And the nice thing of the Kalanchoë, of course, is that it brings color immediately, and you will have a lot of fun with this for a long time because they're very strong. And that is really interesting. I have some of this beautiful moss. We're going to cover a little bit the soil. So I hope everyone is enjoying.
Yes, thumbs up. Vincent Cho says hi from Singapore.
Hello Singapore. Nice that you're here. And I want to give it a little detail. So I prepared something. Because in the summertime we have, of course, the sun. So I'm just gonna add a few mirrors to reflect the sun. And it also reflects the flowers here and there.
Hello from Romania, hello from Brabant.
That's a nice contrast, Romania and Brabant.
That's in the Netherlands. So yeah, a worldwide audience.
So it's a bit traditional, but by adding the mirrors, a nice reflection, and I think this would be very nice on any table. And of course I prepared a little bit. So we have this glass container, and we've covered it with some of the colored wood chips. And then I'm gonna add a few more wood chips. on the base, and then we're gonna use this beautiful one. And you see how really full the flowers are, and they will open up, each and every one of them. So that's really nice. Of course, this is not so smart what I'm doing now. Yeah, I'm learning to. Because first I want to fill the edges. So using the double container will allow you to add stuff in between the plants. So you can reuse the base, because we can easily get the plant in and out. And it's nice for once to make a mess outside instead of the studio. And then we put the plant in. So, very simple, very effective. Of course we can add details, but this is just good as it is. And again, if you have questions, you have to ask them. Try to tidy up a little bit. I'm going to show you a technique, and probably you know it already, but it's a wire technique, and basically we're going to make our own chicken wire. So we cross the wires and we turn it like this, and then every time we can add a wire. And the most important thing with this technique is that the winding is really tight. I hope you can see it. And then you're just going to connect the ends, and so on and so on. So every time we connect it, and we can add a wire. I prepared this one a little bit, but I want you to see the technique. And using this technique we can create all kinds of shapes. So the shape that I've created is something like this. A little nest shape almost. And what we're going to do is we're going to spray it a little bit with some spray glue. And then we have this sisal material. Always nice to work with sisal when it's a bit windy. And basically we're going to just cover it, and here and there you go inside the shape. It's best to use different layers of spray glue. And this is something you can make really quick. And of course you can do it really neat, but in many cases, if it's a little bit messy, it works already with a beautiful appearance. Making it nice and comfortable for our plants. A little hook so we can hang it, and then, well, we're just gonna place it in with pot and all, and something we can hang on a tree or wherever. Very quick, very easy, and a lot of fun.
So we had a question about the varieties of the Kalanchoës. Can you tell a little bit about that?
Well, we have the really small ones. These are probably one of my favorites because they're small, but you can see a lot of huge flowers in them. So basically it's all garden Kalanchoës, We have them in all colors. We have the double and the single. So here we see a double flower and here you see a single flower. And we have them in all sizes. So that's really nice because for every design you can think of, you can find a nice Kalanchoë. I have a piece of foam. This is used in the furniture industry. But of course we can make a nice base of this. Cutting some wires. And then I make little clamps out of them, little holding pins. And basically the only thing what I'm going to do is go through and connect them. So we're going to make a little base that's not really natural, but we can make it natural in appearance by covering it with bark or something else. So I'm going through, connecting it, real simple.
Okay, let me get that. Yeah.
And maybe in the background you hear some children because the schools are out in Holland. And the nice thing of this foam material is you can get it in colors, you can get it in different thicknesses. So also with this material, and I know it's not very natural, but you can create really cool designs. And this is just to show you the technique.
And is it already watertight?
This is already watertight, so no problem with that. You can imagine that you can shape it in any way you want. Really cool. Can be a nice summer hat.
Wait, wait.
Oh no.
Oh, I missed that. Wait.
Well, especially for Patricia, nice summer hat.
Looks good on you.
But you can also make some kind of bag shape that we can hang. So this is the technique to create this. And then we just grab a nice plant. And of course it's a bit tricky getting it in. So I'm very happy that the Kalanchoë is a very strong plant.
Ah, that's lovely.
But this is really cool. You can put it down, maybe some stones, or you can hang it.
And what did you use to cover it?
This is reindeer moss with hot glue. So we put it in the blender and then hot glue, put it on. And flexible tube with some raffia. And this is just a nice way to create something that is totally different. Let's start with some smaller ones. I'm gonna mix it. I'm gonna leave the pot on and I'm gonna use some moss to basically cover the pots. That's one advantage of creating things for outside, is that we have a little bit more flexibility in creating, because in many cases outside water is just going in the garden or on your terrace. I'm just gonna cover them with the moss. it helps when you have big hands, because then it's more easy to hold it. And again, if you're just tuning in, if you have questions, please let us know. And of course, we hope that you enjoy it. You maybe get some nice ideas. Starting to get a bit windy.
Hang on to your moss. Well, there was a question about keeping the garden Kalanchoës outside in any temperature, or something you need to...
Well, of course, if it's freezing, then it's a bit tricky. Like many plants, they will have a huge damage then, because it has really, how do you say it, fatty but moisty leaves, so it will freeze, and that's not good. But basically sunny weather like this, 16 degrees, 12 degrees, it's no problem.
And Irina wants to know more about blending the moss.
Yeah.
Please explain.
Yeah, basically you have a kitchen blender, and what you do is you put your reindeer moss in and you just blender it. And the nice thing is that you change the whole appearance but also the structure of the moss, and you can use different techniques when you blender it. So you can use spray glue, hot glue, silicone glue, cold glue, all kinds of things.
So you basically grind it until it's really fine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then we just have a nice little tree, and here and there I can clamp it in, but of course not every spot will allow me to clamp the plants in, so I can also use some of the rustic wire. And again, it's very simple but very effective. And I think that's really important, that as a florist, of course it's beautiful to create only difficult things and things that take you for hours, but probably the market for commercial designs like this is bigger, and you can make them much quicker, and that's also important as a florist. So very simple, very effective. Of course you can do more wires, more details, but it's just to show you the idea. I have a nice pot and some bark, and basically I'm just gonna glue some bark on the pot in different directions. A bit messy almost. Whoa.
Hang on to your bark.
Very windy.
Is it a specific type of bark?
This is bark, well, I know the Dutch name. Sorry, not Latin name.
Okay, tell
The
me.
Dutch name is plataan. It's basically this tree. And as you can see, it loses a little bit of the bark. And when it loses the bark, you will always find me with a big bag and picking up all the pieces of bark. People are looking at you like he's crazy.
No, that's really smart.
Materials like this, from your own garden or from parks, that are falling on the ground, we can easily use that. Of course, you can also buy bark at your wholesalers. And like I said before, commercial is very important, so also when you glue, try to work fast. Work good, but work fast. Because time is money. And you can spend a half hour on this, but you can also do it in 6 minutes. That means you can make more and sell more. I made another one. well, I have to confess, Rose made another one. But basically, in this one, you see the edges are covered with moss, so it's not necessary, but it is possible to do that. Again, very simple, but very effective. One with moss and one without moss.
Yes, it's really cute.
So I hope everyone is
Nice
enjoying.
idea. Yeah, but not a lot of questions, so don't be shy, ask anything you like.
Basically, I like antiques, I like flea markets, and sometimes I see wood that comes from a very old cupboard. So this is the back side of the cupboard. And I drilled holes, 4 holes, glued on the bottom part some glue to connect it. You still see the glue threads, so all of my students now can say, Pim, I see glue threads. I know. Very nice. To make it a little bit more special, I have these stones that are really soft, and I made a little edge in them just to lift it up really a little bit, so it's like a centimeter off the table. And in this case, we're just gonna place them in like this. So when you have a nice concept and a beautiful product, you don't have to do a lot to make it interesting. Because with the same stone, I drilled a little hole, put it on a stick, and I can repeat the stone where it's standing on. And I always say, when you repeat things, when you repeat materials, your eye is connecting both things and you see it more as a total. These stones are really light, so that helps. They're also really soft, and to show you, even with a rough hand, you can get it into shape if you would like. So soft stone, but really nice.
Do you know the name of the stone?
Again, I know the Dutch name.
Okay, tell me.
This stone variety is called mergel.
Right.
Probably a name that's difficult to pronounce when you're not Dutch. And it comes from the bottom part of Holland. I picked it myself. I shouldn't say that because I don't know if it's legal.
Well, we'll look up the English name and post it later. Masako from Japan says, I'm enjoying it a lot in Osaka, and no questions. That means everyone is so concentrated on Pim's work.
Well, that's always good to hear. I have some loose stones. You can put them on the edge of the containers here and there, or like this, or when you place it on the table, just throw a few on the table, again to make the connection. I think a very nice and interesting way to work with stones and this old piece of wood. And for me, wood and stone and wood and metal is always a really nice combination.
Miriam says the stone is called marl in English.
Wow, that's
Marl.
probably I won't forget that.
Remember.
We have this very simple basket, and I've cut a bucket, the edge off, so it fits in, and then we can use this big beauty. It's always a bit tricky to get them out without damaging them, but this already is interesting because of the nice contrast, and people who know me know I like sticks and wicker and things like that, and especially with this weather it's a bit more tricky. Look, how cool is that? Even the bees like the Kalanchoë. And it's also nice that insects are drawn to the color probably first. making a little movement with the wicker, and I can go in between the baskets. It's nice material, but it always gets really messy, and it's difficult to get it unmessy.
It's all tangled up.
Tangled up, exactly. But it's a nice example of how easy you can create something fun using color, contrast, or going with the same color. And working with materials like this, for me, immediately impact. It's different with some other plants or flowers that still need to open up, or this is already beautiful. And that helps also in the creating process, because you see what's happening. Again, very simple, but very effective. Let me see what we got. Again, a little preparation. So we have this piece of wood, this slice of wood. It's very soft. We drilled some holes in. So we put some, I think it's dried willow, bleached willow, very soft. We have a nice plastic container with some bleached banana leaves. And already we have a nice base. So this is the material that we cover the base with. Of course you can also cut it, and I'm now really tearing it, but I like to see the rough edges. Makes it a little bit more natural almost. And I'm just going to use the small ones and make a nice mix. And everything is blowing in the wind. It could be a nice title for a song. Last one. So is everyone still enjoying?
Yes.
Of course, I'm also very curious if they work with Kalanchoë, if they like Kalanchoë.
Let us know, guys. Charmaine from South Africa says she's enjoying the demonstration very much, and she has also been picking up some pieces of bark for a demonstration. So
very good.
You're not the only one.
That's good. Yeah, florists are strange beings. We collect everything we think we can use someday. And sometimes it's laying in our cabinets for years.
You can also call it inventive.
Exactly. Oh, that's not sticking. So basically I'm using the sticks to clamp and almost weave my material through. Probably the most tricky part is also working with Kalanchoë. To be very careful with the leaves because they are very vulnerable. But again, once you have them in, you will enjoy them for a long time. And we take some smaller pieces. Again, we're going to repeat a little bit what we have been doing on the outside. Just clamping them in between, breaking a little bit the green inside. And there we have another really nice, really quick design, and sometimes it looks more difficult than it really is. So I hope you enjoyed this live stream. A half hour goes really quick. I don't know how many things we've shown, but probably around 8 or 9. Of course we will photograph everything and you will see it later so you can find more details. If you have any questions, just write them down. We will try to answer every single one of them. And thank you for watching, and of course we hope to see you next time at Flower Factor. Good luck and keep enjoying.